Well, I'm here at Walker's Flat for a bit of fishing, but it's an absolute pea super. Have a look at this. Plan A's out of the window. The fog's starting to lift. It's coming up to 9 o'clock in the morning. I've been and had a look at Wongala Lagoon, which was my preferred fishing spot, but the ground is very wet. The water's coming up, and apart from limited access, I don't really want to be fishing on sticky mud. So I've crossed on the ferry, which you can see down there, and I'm going to head up on the eastern side of the river and head towards Swan Reach and see if I can find a decent fishing spot along the way. I'm surprised how quickly the river is rising again. There's been a big flush come down from water in Victoria and water holding releases at Dartmouth and places like that, so yeah, it's going to be a bit of an exploring day, I think. But once this fog goes, it's going to be a lovely day. It's crisp. It was -3 as I came through Birdwood on the way up here, and the temperature now is a whole 2 degrees. Anyway, onwards and upwards, and let's see if we can find somewhere to fish. Gee, I think that's seen better days. Barely afloat. This is about plan F or G. After driving around for hours, I finally found a spot I could actually get in and do some fishing, and I'm almost at Mannum. And so I'm going to give it a little bit of time and see if I get any fish. I've got a bit of a bite at the moment, and if not, I think I'll be going home early. Can't say that there are too many spots in the Lower Murray where you can actually get a line in the water. I'd be preferring to fish the backwaters, but unfortunately the river flow is such that you drop a line in and it's gone downstream very, very quickly. So this spot at least is out of the main flow, but whether it will produce any fish or not is another matter. I got a fish, I think. Oh, I've got 2, and look at the size of them. I'm afraid this is probably going to be the problem here. Well, the bigger one's probably 6 inches and the other one's not. Never mind, it's a start. A fish at last, and this one is on the feeder, and it's another tiny little carp. More bites, but gee, I think they're small. Well, maybe not quite as small as I thought. That's worm tipped with corn. And I'm guessing another carp. Yep. Better use the net for this one. I can see the line breaking. Get him in there, that'll help. Not very good. I could do with one about 5 or 6 times bigger than that. Well, if I was to say the fishing was slow, I think that would be an understatement. I've been here for an hour, I've caught 4 little carp, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think things are likely to improve. I'll have to make a decision very shortly as to whether I'm going to stay overnight or whether I'm going to head home. I rather think it'll be the latter. More bites, and probably more small carp. Sound like a real pessimist, but there hasn't been any sign of anything big at all. And to be perfectly honest, they're not really taking it seriously, they're just playing around with it. And I think that one's dropped it and gone. Well, he came back, but was it worth the effort? I think not. More of the same. I can't see them getting much bigger. I got a bite on the feeder and barely moved the rod tip. Be interesting to see whether this comes to anything. He's still there. And I missed him. Right, get it back out there. You know it's a slow day when I'm videoing houseboats. And another one. I hope he's aiming for the bank. There's a fair bit of sideways drift there. But the flow rate's about 40,000 megalitres a day, so there'll be a fair current out there. Seems to have got it back online. Very busy stretch of river for houseboats round Mannum, and a few dollars, I would think, tied up in a boat like that. Right, got one a little bit bigger. Very, very small bite. I think cold weather, I don't know, they're just very touchy. In you go. Be lucky if he was £1.5. I think the best way to describe this trip is spectacularly unspectacular. A lot of driving, very few places to fish on the lower river, lots of private property and lock gates, and too much flow in the river to be in the main channel, so I had to make do with what I had to make do with, and I've driven a lot of kilometres for just a few small carp. Never mind, I'm calling it. I'm going to pack up and go home shortly. I'm not staying overnight. If I'd picked up a few better fish here I might be tempted, but I don't think so. So, not really one for the record books. Never mind, there's always next time. I nearly lost my rod out of my rod holder as I was packing up, and that looks like it's going to be the last fish for the day. Okay, all packed up. I'll have a quick cup of coffee and a snack, and I'm out of here. Home for a late tea. Frank out.